like you don't even know what type of snowball effect is occurring, but there's only like one real explanation in that. It's just like God is like here.
Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome back to LDS Mission Stories. In the studio today, I'm joined by one of my best friends. Want to call him my brother, basically. I got Jett. Welcome, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming
today.
It's
been a while to make this happen, so
I
that's
know.
my bad.
No, dude, it's all good. It's crazy how, sometimes we've been friends for so long, but we've never really sat down and talked about our missions.
Yeah.
And I know yours is a mission that was pretty crazy, and I'm sure you got all sorts of stories. So I'd love to just dive right into that. Tell me about maybe a little bit about your childhood and making the decision to go on a mission.
Yeah. So let's see. Both my parents are converts, and so that kind of.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
They're both converts, and so I feel like the way my mom like incorporated the gospel in her household was probably a little different than like a standard,
Yeah.
I don't know, multi-generational like LDS family. But I feel like the thought and decision to go on a mission was not that difficult for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just because I was willing to do it, or I don't know if it was just a combination of like spiritual experiences, but I feel like I never was like unsure if I was gonna serve a mission or not. But there are honestly just so many like micro like building blocks that just made it an easy decision for me.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's kind of a I don't know, easy answer.
No, I love that. Well, and I guess kind of diving into that a little bit more. When was that decision? Was it in high school? Was it as a young kid? It was just like, yeah, that's just what I do, and I'm down to do it.
Yeah.
Or I guess maybe a better question is, when did it like get real? Maybe later in life, it's like, oh, dang, a mission's actually a pretty big thing to commit to.
Yeah.
Tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I think early on, it just was something, I'm going to do this, didn't have a ton of weight to it.
Yeah.
And then throughout high school, I don't know if it would be like youth conferences or like Helaman camp or EFY, but as you just get a little bit older, those types of more impactful like experiences actually mean something.
Yeah.
And I remember I had this black and white like future missionary like bracelet that cool. I wore like religiously.
Really?
In fact, it was like kind of sad when I took it off because I was no longer a future missionary. I was just a missionary.
Yeah.
But it was probably like a couple of years of wearing that. So throughout high school, there was always just like a visual reminder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just say it got more and more serious and more like real probably each year throughout high school, and then come senior year, it just game on. What can you do to totally lock in and get ready? And it's a fun, exciting time for sure.
I love that. Well, and it was cool for me. Obviously, you're a few years older than me and tight with all my older brothers, and I was always just like tagging along, and it was so fun because you and your whole friend group they were such good influences on me, but it was fun to just kind of see how you guys were doing high school, the decisions you were making. I felt like I was so blessed to have you guys kind of blaze the trail for me in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And we have so many fun memories skiing and doing all that. But tell me about receiving your mission call and maybe some of the emotions that you felt when you read Africa, you know, and tell me what mission it was exactly and what you might have learned about it in those early months. But yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, I have a few videos of me like opening my call, and so every time I watch it, those like exact feelings come back like so distinctly. Like I even know what I was wearing, and it's just like really funny to re-envision. But
Yeah.
I remember on the back deck of my house, had a bunch of friends over, family, and I was pretty excited. My mission call actually came when I was on my senior trip. Like
Oh,
the
cool.
day we were driving to California, my mom texted me. She's like, "Hey, it came in the mail," because
No
at the
way.
time it was still just like paper.
Yeah.
Um, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're
So you
kidding
had a
me!"
week in California, and
Yeah, the whole week I was just like so antsy to get home and
that's actually hilarious.
almost wanting my mom to like open it for me and just like tell me where I was going.
Yeah.
But eventually got back and then opened it, and I got called to serve in the Uganda Kampala mission.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, and when I first started that, I was like, "Oh, I don't know where that is actually." Like,
I know that's somewhere far.
yeah, I knew it wasn't like within the U.S. And for like a split second, I thought that it might have been like South America. Like I knew
Yeah, yeah.
Uruguay was a country, but I also knew Uruguay wasn't
Yeah.
Uganda.
Yeah, yeah.
But then as I kept reading, it actually said that my mission included the countries of Rwanda, Ethiopia, and South Sudan as well.
Okay.
And then after reading that, I was like, "Oh,
Like,
whoa, that's
yep.
like Africa." I
It's
don't.
like core Africa.
Yeah. So when
Dang,
I read
dude.
that, I was extremely excited.
Yeah.
I was happy for
Were you
sure.
stoked?
Yeah, I was I told myself I'd be happy to serve, wherever, and
Yeah.
hopefully that's true,
Hmm.
in a different life. Maybe I would have served somewhere else and hopefully I
Right.
would have been just as stoked. But um yeah, I was happy. And then as I kept reading, it also mentioned I was going to the South Africa MTC. So that was also a
Oh, really?
crazy
And you did go to,
twist.
I
Yeah.
don't know why that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, well this will be a fun conversation then, because most of the MTC experience can get repetitive, because I mean it's
Hmm.
awesome, but like
Yeah, yeah.
everyone kind of has a similar experience, but maybe you have, I'm sure that is a very
Oh yeah.
interesting but cool environment, I'm
Hmm.
sure.
Hmm.
Um yeah, maybe let's just dive right into that. Tell me about leaving on your mission. If there's anything else that happened before that might be worth sharing, you can add to that as well. But
Yeah, I guess before we get to the mission part, I
yeah.
do remember I got my call probably early June, maybe late May, because it
Okay.
was right after graduation.
Yeah.
But most of my friends were leaving before, because my like departure date was like September 10th or
Oh,
something
okay,
like
yeah.
that. So I had the whole summer to hang
Mess
around,
around and have
basically
fun.
watch, yeah, and watch all my friends leave, because they're
Yeah.
all heading to the MTC, June, July, August. So what helped is I ended up getting endowed probably in June,
Okay.
so
So
pretty
pretty soon
early.
after.
Yeah, and the reason being is, I wanted to like go to the temple and kind of experience that, but
Hmm.
I also would go with my friends who
Cool.
were kind of getting endowed a little bit before their missions.
Yeah.
But I think I worked at the temple
Oh,
um,
no way.
that whole summer, and I've
Wow.
told this to like a bunch of people just like in private conversations, but that was like the best thing ever.
Really?
Yeah. So I worked. Do you remember Bowie Hayes?
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
Bowie
yeah.
Hayes and I
Bowie's a legend.
I think we were leaving the same week,
Okay.
and our stake presidents had like the same idea of just like, hey, go work at the temple. So we worked in the temple every single morning, doing like the 5:30 a.m. shift to like 11 a.m. It's like
No way.
I don't remember the time window,
Yeah.
but every single day. So
So you did that whole summer?
yeah, well, maybe like
Or
the last like 2 months. I probably
okay.
didn't start
Yeah,
immediately
yeah, yeah.
in like June or
But for a
July.
good amount of time.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like probably over 10 weeks
Oh
every
my
day straight.
goodness.
And so it was just so fun actually like learning those covenants
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of locking them down and understanding like what I'm actually committed to,
Yeah.
because I feel like most missionaries get
Oh, dude.
one or two temple
That's
experiences.
exactly how I was. Like I went through the temple, went through maybe two or three more times with some buddies, and then I didn't have a temple in my mission.
Yeah.
And like I went in the Mexico MTC, we went I think twice,
Hmm.
but then I didn't go to the temple for 2 years while I was in
Crazy.
Virginia. And so yeah, that's so rad. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And it was cool because obviously going, 30, 40, 50 times before,
Yeah.
and not only going, but like leading,
Participating.
participating,
Yeah.
like you're like very involved. It was so much easier for me to reflect,
Mm.
a year into my mission of like, I was never like forgetful of like what, was
Yeah.
going on in the temple because I also didn't have a temple in the mission, but
Yeah.
it was super, super helpful.
Cool.
And just like, I don't know, for me, part of like my testimony is like, I feel like I only needed like one or two really strong, uh, blocks of a testimony. And so like going to the temple, doing that every single day, I just like knew certain things had to be true.
Yeah.
Whether that was like priesthood authority
Mm.
or the plan of salvation.
Cool.
And then having a strong testimony on just like those two or three like strong doctrines, it allows you to, have
Build
faith.
off of it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, if like the temple is real and like the priesthood power is real, technically the prophet Joseph Smith has to be a true prophet. And I
Yeah.
don't even have to have an experience about that, not
Yeah. Yeah.
necessarily
Yeah.
like because
Uh-huh.
the temple has given me a strong like testimony builder, just like through logic, he would have to be a true prophet.
Yeah.
And then over time you can also,
Fill in the holes. Yeah.
yeah, so that was like a huge,
Hmm.
huge core like testimony piece for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe you already answered this then, because usually I'll ask, what would you tell a kid preparing
Yeah.
for mission? Like, that's what you'd say?
For sure.
Get in the temple, work in the temple if you can.
Yeah, even if you don't work in the temple, it's like just don't get endowed 5 days before you go to the MTC,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
separate the two experiences because your mission's
Mm.
amazing, but so is your endowment. Like
Oh,
your endowment
absolutely.
and the initiatory, that obviously is a completely separate experience. In
Yeah.
fact, I really admire when people just like do that,
Not even to go on a mission or to get
yeah,
married, they just do it. Yeah.
but just separate them and
Yeah.
kind of let that soak
Huh.
in and, go often because oh my gosh, it was so helpful
That
for
is
me.
that's so cool. Because that's a part of my faith and my testimony that I've had to fortify post mission,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've had to be very intentional about my temple attendance and learning the
Mm-hmm.
things that are in the temple, and I'm grateful for it. But if I were to go back, like, that's such a great way to handle it, and it prepares
Yeah.
you, when you're teaching things of the plan of salvation. I remember teaching parts about the temple on my mission and being like, oh man, like, I mean, this is what it is, but it's like I don't have much to like
Uh-huh.
build. Obviously, I went a ton as youth, but yeah, like you said, the endowment and the initiatory, there's such sacred and beautiful things
Yeah.
that take time to really understand,
Oh my gosh.
and
Yeah.
it just takes that repetition. But dang, that's so cool. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that.
Yeah. So that would be my advice for sure.
Yeah.
Go to the temple early and at least just attend often, let
Mm-hmm.
alone working is, yeah, so
That'd be
fun.
epic.
And still have memories of me and Bowie just
Just
clocking
kicking
in.
it.
Yeah, 5 a.m. just rolling through the parking lot each summer morning. Yeah, it's fun.
That's epic. So cool. Yeah, let's maybe before we go into the MTC, just
Okay.
because I know you personally and you've been such a big influence on my life, talk about um your friends and like your network and like your family. Like, what was how did your support system help you with going on a mission?
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of highlight whatever might be important of that, but I feel like I want to talk
Dive
about that
in.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
No, that's super valid. So yeah, I'm the youngest of 5 siblings. Grew up with a single mom. My dad passed away when I was 4,
Mhm.
and so all throughout, basically my whole life, I basically just grew up with my mom raising all of us kids. Which,
Yeah.
having my dad pass away for me not wasn't necessarily a huge like loss as much as it was what it was for my older siblings because
You were
they
younger.
yeah, I just didn't have as much like memory of it, so it was just normal to be raised by my mom Michelle, who's the
Yeah.
best, whereas
Bless her.
yeah, she's amazing. Whereas my older siblings definitely like lost something in their life,
Yeah, yeah.
but for me not having a dad, my mom was like top tier
Oh,
parent.
seriously.
um like just some core, like very simple things that helped me build a testimony and just kind of get to where I am is she would read us scriptures every morning while she like made breakfast.
Yeah.
So she would cook pancakes. We'd all be sitting, barely waking up around the table, and she's just like reading this like massive Book of Mormon. Like I don't even know if they can
Yo.
like print them out that big anymore.
Yeah.
As she's like flipping pancakes, just so the
So
stories.
much at once. Yeah.
Yeah, the stories were familiar with me, or familiar to me, just from like literally hearing them
Yeah.
like all day, every morning. And that helped me be comfortable with just like that part of my testimony.
Yeah.
But also, not having a dad kind of forced me to learn to communicate with like adults or like sports coaches a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit better. Because as like a
Uh-huh.
10-year-old, I kind of had to represent myself
Yeah.
rather than,
Interesting.
your dad over your shoulder, like
On the
talking to
sidelines.
coaches.
Yeah.
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 So I was able to work well with like adults and coaches and
At a young
built
age.
relationships with other parents, like
Right.
your
Yeah.
dad
Absolutely.
and your mom,
Yeah.
and even like I can literally list like 10 other people who were
Yeah.
like almost co-parents to me
Huh.
because it was just easy for me to like grab and attach myself to these other resources
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Ryan Backer
Yeah.
or I don't even know, Kevin Glee,
Yeah.
or I feel bad listing these people by name because I'm totally going to forget other people that were like so crucial. But
Yeah.
I think that helped me, I don't know, just kind of learn certain skills and
Yeah.
build trust with other people. And
Kind of fast tracks your social skills, especially with adults. Yeah.
yeah, and then also the fact that, growing up my whole life, my dad's like, in heaven, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever my mom would say to us. I like needed to believe the plan of salvation. Like it was like crucial for me
Absolutely.
to feel like that comfort and, you know, peace and also like optimism for like the future. And
Yeah.
so certain doctrine or certain just like principles like needed to be true
Yeah.
in order for my life to just like go smooth.
Yeah.
And so you kind of just fast track that as well,
Hmm.
or you just pure faith have to accept it and over time get
Yeah.
confirmations too.
I love that. That's so powerful. And thank you for sharing that. I know that
Yeah.
those are, important, but also personal things. But I think a lot of kids and youth, whether they experience, losing a parent, they go through these hard things,
Mm-hmm.
that are unpredictable, and they may not know how to navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think your words have so much value behind them because the response is that there are people around you who love you and want to support and help you.
Oh,
Right.
for
No
sure.
matter what situation you might be in.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that can be your direct family, that can be leaders, that can be coaches, all the people
All
that
of
you
them.
just listed
Yeah.
off. And that's what the gospel offers. And that's what Christ and his church offers, is this community, this
Mm-hmm.
family that's just like integrated so deep within the church. And no matter where you come from, it's like we're here to love and to include people, and that's the message that you take out as a missionary. And it's so rad.
100%.
So
100%.
cool. Thank you for sharing that. Let's hop into the mission experience. Tell me about getting out to the MTC. Obviously it's fun to have your mission call and live your senior year of high school, and it's
Uh-huh.
all awesome and amazing, and then you get out there and it maybe is not awesome and amazing, overnight it just
True.
like hits you. But what was your experience like starting your mission?
Yeah, well, like I said, I didn't go to the Provo MTC, so I went straight from getting set apart. Dylan actually was the one that was like my temporary companion for that night.
Oh,
So
is
he
that
like
right?
he like slept
Sick.
over with
Cool.
me. And then that morning we all just drove to the airport.
Yeah.
And then they dropped me off and then I flew to South Africa. So not as much of a transition
Yeah.
period. It was just kind of cold turkey
Yep.
and then off. And for me it was actually pretty fun. Um I liked South Africa. It was a fun experience. It definitely is like a stepping stone because it's like pretty developed. It's definitely a first world country
Okay.
with parts of slums, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
definitely
But a
like,
big city, a lot of people.
yeah, the country itself is like incredible, but it was a good stepping stone from America to South Africa and then to Uganda,
Yeah, yeah,
just like culturally wise.
yeah.
But it's fun. The MTC is tiny. It's just,
Really?
I think there were maybe less than 40, maybe 45 missionaries
Oh,
in the
really?
whole MTC.
Okay.
And, 10 of them are going to Madagascar, so they're speaking Malagasy. And so
Okay.
they're like also secluded. And then
Yeah.
there's just like 30 of us
Yeah.
English speakers, but are then going to get displaced in parts of Africa like Kenya or Uganda
So
or.
do a lot of, and sorry to cut you off, do a lot of missionaries going to Africa go to Provo still then?
Um, to be
Because there's
honest,
so many
yeah.
missions in Africa, right? And like missionary work, I would just imagine it to be bigger if that's like an operating MTC, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if this is true. I'm pretty sure that MTC is going to be closing soon,
Oh,
or maybe
really?
it's already closed. I don't know.
Okay.
I obviously don't keep up with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I don't expect you
the
to know.
Ghana
But
MTC though is where most missionaries are going
okay. So
now,
there's another one in Africa.
and
Okay.
that is the English teaching. So even missionaries
Mm,
that didn't originally speak English were going to serve in Africa though. They would never go to South Africa. They would always still go to Ghana.
go to
So
Ghana.
half of the missionaries that served in my mission, like let's say they're people from Nigeria,
Yeah.
they would go to Ghana, learn English, and then get sent to my
Your
mission,
mission. I
where
see.
already existing English speakers would just go to South Africa instead. So kind
Oh,
of weird.
okay. Interesting.
Like I said though, I bet South Africa is either already closed, I don't know,
Yeah.
or it will be soon because Ghana
Right.
is like massive now, like that MTC.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. That makes sense though.
yeah.
Cool.
Plus the MTC itself is a small building. It's like next to a stake center, so it
Yeah.
would be really easy for them to just like dissolve that and turn it
Just
into like a
whatever state.
cultural
Yeah.
hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it was fun though.
That's cool. So we're like your bunk rooms all kind of in the same building and
Yeah, it's
it's
all
all
just a
just part
big
of
square
one.
building. I had like the biggest like living quarters room where there was like maybe 12 bunk beds,
Yo.
and then there was like a basement hallway that had a bunch of bunk beds, and then
Nice.
maybe like one other corner for maybe the sister missionaries. I don't totally remember, but it was just like walk out the door. 10 feet to your left is like a little kitchen cafeteria,
Yeah.
and then like 10 feet more are like 3 classrooms, and then 10 feet more were like the MTC president's like quarters.
Okay.
And so there, I don't know how Provo was, but I imagine there's just so many administrative people,
Yeah. Just all over.
and like, whereas for us it was like the MTC president and his wife, and then like 4 or 5 teachers, and then like 40 missionaries.
So
So
crazy. So
we would,
cool.
so all of the like morning meetings, devotionals, all that stuff
You're
were
all
just
together.
operated all together,
Yeah.
and all just uh what would I say? All run by like the president and his
Mm-hmm.
wife. So we were talking to the Ashtons all the time, like
Cool.
24/7.
Yeah. Well, and that's so cool. It's such a different experience. Like
Oh yeah.
it's so intimate. Like I went to the Mexico MTC, and I mean similar to Provo, it's just this big operation. It's like I saw the MTC president, like I don't know, I shook his hand maybe twice. And
Yeah.
it's like he didn't know my name or anything. It's
Yeah.
just a different operation. I'm not saying that is totally fine. But yeah, what a cool thing to go through.
Yeah, it was cool, and I think we were only there for like 2 weeks, anyways, because
Okay.
or like 2.5 or 3. I don't remember what
Yeah.
the
And
period of
you're
time.
really just learning, preach my gospel,
Uh-huh.
learning the lessons. Did they teach you much about like, because I know there's different language dialects throughout your mission, right?
Yeah,
Did they
so
touch on that at all, or is
No.
that something you just pick up
It's
when
just
you
something
when
you'll-
you're there?
yeah, you'll just pick up on that
Cool.
because yeah, my mission, although it was an English speaking mission, primarily just because my mission included 4 different countries,
Right.
and it just like doesn't make sense to teach you
Yeah.
one language because every time you got transferred, you're basically in a different country, different
So-
language. So
So insane.
you kind of had a limited pool of people you could teach since not everyone is an English speaker,
Right.
like at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the MTC, just strictly preach my gospel. I'm trying to remember if one of the teachers, because all the teachers are like from South Africa, but
Okay.
they also it's common to get called in other parts of Africa. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to remember if any of them served in Uganda to like kind of give you some cultural pointers.
Yeah,
but
yeah, but not
I
much
don't
probably.
think so. No, I remember like 2 of them served in Madagascar.
Okay.
But yeah, we just kind of learned the
Yeah.
lessons, and
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
so cool. And you said how it was a good stepping stone. What was the culture shock more intense going from, home to the MTC, or the MTC to your mission field? And maybe speak to
Hmm.
that transition.
Yeah, probably just like from home to the MTC,
Yeah.
because it was just like 18-hour flight. You're
Yeah.
showing up, you're just straight
So
missionary at that point.
insane.
And it wasn't a bad transition at all. Like it
Right.
wasn't necessarily hard or like challenging for me, but it was still like a big transition.
Yeah.
And then by the time you transition from the MTC to Uganda, at that point you're just stoked.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I
Cool.
don't
Cool.
need to
Cool.
learn more about like how to rehearse this lesson.
Yeah.
I just want to
Like,
like
I just want to
start
go
doing
do it.
it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I want to actually meet my mission president and my companion, and so that was way more of just like an excitement
Yeah.
thing.
Cool.
But I guess one thing that would be cool to point out is while in the MTC, you're like confined. You're just like in this little
Yeah.
uh, compound pretty much.
Yeah.
The only time we left, I don't know if we went to the South Africa. We went to the Johannesburg temple either once or twice.
Okay.
Probably once.
Cool.
But then we also left the compound to go teach, basically practice like street contacting with the current Johannesburg like mission.
Oh, nice.
So they would like pair up, maybe 3 MTC, missionaries with like one like actual
Yeah.
missionary who's
Yeah.
like serving in Johannesburg, and
That's
then we would
cool.
just go like, it was only for like an hour, so we would just kind of practice talking to people and just like
Yeah.
contacting, and
Wow.
that was probably my first like exposure of like, oh, I'm not in
This
America.
controlled environment that's like, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this is like a little bit of poverty and a little
Yeah.
bit of different cultural shock.
Hmm.
But now looking at my actual mission, it was like,
Like, so
I was
chill.
like, whoa, that was like posh. That was nice where we
Really?
were kind of cruising Johannesburg. But
Dang.
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Well, and that's a side of your story that I want to hear a lot about, is just the way of life in Africa. It's like, as a missionary, especially when you go to these foreign countries, you're even when you're speaking English, it's like you have to embrace all aspects of that lifestyle, the
Hmm.
culture, the food, the people. Um, tell me about that. It seems like at
Okay.
this point,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of stoke, a lot of confidence building. Um,
Hmm.
but eventually, most missionaries experience this kind of, what am I doing out here moment, and it's like,
Yeah.
whether that's your first night laying in bed with your trainer that you don't get along with, or whatever it might be. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I had an amazing trainer,
Nice.
Elder Schuler, total legend.
Cool.
He's from Oakland, but he had just finished being trained, and so when we became companions, he was only starting his third transfer. So we were
Okay.
both like
Pretty fresh.
totally fresh. Obviously, his first area, my first area, and we
He's
were,
American, you said, from
yeah,
Oakland.
yeah, he's
Okay.
American.
Cool.
And honestly, those first 2 transfers were so fun.
Yeah.
Like he was super helpful and like, patient with me. I feel like he kind of reminded me a little bit of my older brother, so that was also fun, and
Nice.
really just like no hiccups at all, um, which probably isn't like your typical like
Yeah. Yeah.
introduction to a mission. Obviously, there were still a lot of things to adjust to, like diet and
Yeah.
just like culture, and it was fun to learn like what that even meant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my first area was in a pretty well established like ward area, so the church probably like that was probably one of the earlier wards, and
Yeah.
so some members there had been members for 20, 30 years.
Cool.
Keep in mind, my mission, I don't think got missionaries until like the 80s, so it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, the church
Relatively
overall is
new.
relatively new. Like I
Wow.
think when I served there were 2 stakes
Okay.
and maybe like 20 wards or something
Wow.
like that, and then I don't know,
Yeah.
15 branches. But this is one of the newer, or one of the more established wards, and so there were a lot of like returned missionaries that were
Yeah.
serving in the bishopric now, and
Cool.
it was so fun. Like they
Yeah.
just knew what growth and what like a missionary and a ward like should do
How they
together.
should, the relation. Yeah.
So that was awesome and
Cool.
really fun. We actually did end up being in a trio my second transfer. So my second half of training, we had a guy named Elder Ochum, and he was from Uganda, waiting for his visa to go to South Africa.
Oh, okay.
And so he became a missionary straight from his like home village, and then just like moved into our apartment. So he had never been to the MTC
Wow.
or anything. He was basically waiting to go to the MTC, but they just set him apart. And so it was fun
Wow.
because he also obviously knew the culture like
Yeah.
perfectly. So
Yeah.
we had like
You kind of have an in.
oh yeah, he's teaching us like all these words, all the culture, like just like fast track of
Yeah.
how to work with people. Plus, he could like actually speak their language and
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
English, so we could teach anyone we talked to. Because
So
as soon as
cool.
someone was like, I don't speak English, we're like, hey, Elder Chum, let's go. What
Yeah.
are they saying? Let's
Yeah.
go.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it was. I loved being trained, and it was awesome.
So cool. What is you mentioned diet.
Okay.
To a young kid just got their mission call to your mission. What can they
Yeah.
expect to eat in those first couple months, and
Yeah.
what were some things that like maybe took a minute to figure out?
So yeah, if anyone, I'm looking straight at you guys. If anyone gets called to my mission, don't expect any glamorous food. It's
Yeah.
just not like known for that at all.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not. I didn't think it was bad.
Really?
It's just pretty. It's just basic food.
Yeah.
Rice, beans,
Chicken.
plantain,
Yeah.
bits of chicken or pork or beef. They also don't really like season stuff
Okay.
like really well. It's just like
Yeah.
maybe some salt or like a little bit of like I don't know. So, like it's relatively bland,
Pretty
but
mellow. Okay.
I don't just as long as you can palate just like normal food and maybe large volumes of it, like
Yeah.
you're totally fine. Some of the street food's fun. You've
Yeah.
got lots of people baking basically like omelets. They're called Rolex,
Really?
like Rolex, but
Okay.
it's basically just an omelet wrapped up in like a really thick tortilla. So it's like a breakfast burrito, I guess you could say.
Nice.
But you could basically find those every 20 feet on the side of the road,
Actually?
and they're super cheap and they're really
Yeah.
filling. But I don't know. You really have a very confined diet to plantains, other.
So it's not that extreme or
No,
anything.
no.
It gets pretty chill.
Yeah, like you're not gonna have anything spicy, nothing
Yeah.
too much. You just might get big portions
Yeah.
if you're at like members' homes, and then the food might just like make you kind of sick,
At
not to
first, yeah.
scare anyone, just
Yeah.
because like the water's not clean, and so you're never gonna have it's never gonna sit perfectly well.
Yeah, it's not super fresh or anything. Yeah.
No. But it's great, and obviously fruit and vegetables are of abundance, and
Cool.
it's just so good. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting to hear, because I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's probably where a lot of kids get stressed
Hooked
out
up,
about,
yeah.
is the diet. But I'm sure I went to the Philippines for work, and some of the stuff they eat there, bro, is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Africa's menu might even be a little more chill than that. So
Yeah, maybe.
but
the
I'm
nice
sure
thing is
there are some wild stuff too.
yeah, and the nice thing is at the end of the day, it's all fresh. There's no refrigerators, so it's either cooked right then or cooked a couple hours prior, or it's
Yeah.
just like fresh fruits and veggies. So like,
Yeah.
if you can look at it that way,
Yeah.
you're living high, man.
Let's
It's
go.
great. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
I'd love to start hearing a couple stories now.
Okay.
Whether it's about people that you met and taught, could be funny, could be impactful. Maybe let's just rattle off a couple.
Yeah. So, I guess one thing that's like really unique about my mission is when a white missionary is walking down the street, you are most likely the first white person they've ever seen, like ever, which
So insane.
is pretty fun because you have like all these eyeballs on you, and
Yeah.
in a way that's good because you want to set a good example, and hopefully you do. But all day, every day, you're just hearing people call you white person, which
Yeah.
sounds like Mzungu.
Yeah.
So people are just pointing at you, Mzungu, Mzungu, Mzungu. And so you just have so much attention already.
Interesting.
And with that, there are like some caveats. Like,
Yeah.
the reason I'm using this to preface the story, but stealing there is like not okay, like at all.
Hmm.
Like they don't like it. Like you'll go to jail or maybe
Really?
worse. You know, you
Okay.
might get hurt, kind
Yeah.
of a thing. But if you steal from a white person, it's totally cool because they just naturally think you have more money, which we probably do,
Generally
right?
is. Yeah.
And so I remember one transfer. My companion and I were both new to this zone, and we had a truck and we were dropping off missionaries at their new areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just the two of us. And once again, we were both brand new to this area,
Yeah.
and we are trying to find this apartment that we've never been to,
Yeah.
where we are now going to be living. And we have no idea where this is. Like we're following like instructions like, hey, go to this gas station, turn right, then when you see this massive mango tree, you'll turn left. Like
Yeah.
just like
Just like so loose.
yeah. And as we're trying to figure out where to go and get to our apartment for the first time, we're just kind of parked in the middle of this like dirt road with just tons of like I don't know, food vendors and little shops, and it's just
Yeah.
really crowded but like narrow street. And this guy like stopped his car in front of us to go grab some food, so we just like stopped as well. And as
Yeah.
we're like trying to map out how to get out of this little suburb, all of a sudden my companion sees in the rear view mirror, he's like, dude, someone just stole our suitcase out of the back of our truck. And he's driving, so I immediately unbuckle, open the door, and I see this guy running down the dirt road with my suitcase on his head,
No
and he's just
way.
like sprinting as fast as I can. So I run after him, and he can like tell I'm like chasing him, so he like hucks my bag and then just runs down some like alley.
No way.
And it's just funny. The reason I bring this out because it was honestly hilarious. I go back, I put
Yeah.
my suitcase in the back of the truck, and for me, it's just like journals and scriptures. Like it's nothing
Nothing
of
too crazy.
value to
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
but for me, it's like everything. And I'm like,
Right.
oh my gosh, if I lost that
I would
suitcase,
be
I would be
done.
so sad. But what's even funnier is I get in the car and my companion's like, dude, you're like a ninja. That was crazy. Like you just chased down this guy. But long story short, that would not really happen to anyone else because we were white. So although a ton of people like saw that happen,
Yeah. Yeah.
no one wanted it wasn't important to like stop this guy from taking our luggage.
Yeah. Yeah. They're
Um,
just gonna let it happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like walking back with my luggage, I'm like looking at all these people and they're kind of like laughing at me and just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
being playful with it, but I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Like I just like almost lost my whole mission just to some dude
Just
like
all your
which
stuff.
I don't blame him. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's like
it's
whatever.
just
Just doing what
yeah,
it's got to do.
yeah, but it was a fun little eye opener that, you know, I don't know, just
You're here. You're in
we're
Africa.
yeah, I'm in Africa, and I honestly don't blame him for trying to steal whatever may have been in whatever he thought was in the luggage.
Yeah.
But you just gotta love the people,
Dang.
man. You just love it. It's so fun.
That's amazing. What a perfect story to kind of illustrate the reality of being there,
Oh
know,
yeah,
as a missionary. And it's funny. It's so interesting to compare, walking the streets of Africa to, walking the streets of anywhere in the US, as a missionary, where people don't really care for you. Like you just
oh
don't stick
yeah,
out,
yeah,
here in the US or in a lot of parts of the world. But yeah, in a place like Africa, you naturally already have
oh yeah.
a built-in icebreaker just as an American
Mm-hmm.
who's just kind of looks funny with his shirt and tie, it's just
Yeah.
like sticking out like a sore thumb. But yeah, tell me maybe some other experiences you have that kind of illustrate what serving a mission in Africa might be like.
Yeah, so at least like in Uganda, because during the time of my mission, although it had 4 countries, South Sudan had no missionaries just because of civil war, and that's I think still the case now.
Oh wow.
And then most missionaries were in Uganda, just because there were more wards and branches, and then Rwanda had a few branches at the time, and then Ethiopia had like 3 or 4 as well. And so
Okay.
90% of my mission I served in Uganda. Then the last couple transfers I was in Rwanda.
Cool.
But for Uganda, it's all just like kind of just like suburb type slummy homes, which is totally fine, but they're all just like concrete, brick homes, all like
Very
really
simple.
super simple, tin roof, dirt roads, dirt pathways, and it's a really cool system. Like if you can look at these like communities, it's just like totally dense, totally packed in, and still it's just like full of the happiest people ever, you know.
Mm.
They're all living in houses like the exact size of this room that we're in
Yeah.
now, and on dirt floors.
Wow.
Maybe they'll have some like vinyl, like weird, like rubbery material that they can like put on the ground to
Mm.
like put on top of the dirt, but it's
Yeah.
still just like rock hard.
Yeah.
And then like a single bed where the whole family just sleeps,
Piles on.
piles on, maybe a couch, and then for some reason there's always like a calendar just like
Really?
pinned into like the dirt wall that the kid probably got from like school. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, whatever you can find to decorate the house,
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Just
there.
throw it
So
up.
calendars from every year.
So awesome.
If you go to a member's home, you'll find like cutouts of anything or anyone from like the Liahona magazines.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you just have like collages of like prophets and apostles and like
So cool.
the conference center, and it's like, wow, I feel the spirit so much in this home.
Yeah.
Although it's like not much of a home, it's like
Yeah.
this is amazing. Like
Yeah.
they do what like they can with with
Exactly.
like their limited resources, and so
So cool.
that's like the typical experience. You're just walking all day,
Yeah.
tight corners. There's obviously no addresses. You're just pure memorization of where people live and where like things are. And I don't know.
Man.
It is so fun. I need to go back.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Dude, that sounds well. And yeah, once you get into that that mode and you learn the culture, you start to get a little more comfortable. It really does just
Oh,
become so fun,
it is amazing.
you know. And I think that that's a point that you look forward to as a missionary, and hopefully it comes sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
But it sometimes it takes work to get there, and it
Yeah.
takes adversity. I'd love to, if you could share, maybe a low that you might have had in
Mm-hmm.
those first months or whenever it might have been,
Yeah.
where you're like, man, there's cool parts of it, but this is brutal, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do a full 2 years of this,
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, 'cause this is where, the mission becomes real, and this is
Yeah.
where you grow. But so right after being trained, for those first two transfers, they were so smooth, so fun. Starting transfer 3, I got sent to a new area called Walukuba. So I'm leaving the city,
Yeah.
going like 3 or 4 hours east into like this population area called Jinja. It's more like a jungle, or they call it like a bush area. And I'm also training. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I'm training a companion pretty early on, and we're both going to a new area that neither of us have been. And that
Is he
was
American?
Yeah, he was American. His
Okay.
Elder Brady from Idaho. He's
Cool.
awesome. I hope he listens to this.
Yeah.
And we're actually good buddies. We'll see each other every once in a while. But
Nice.
when we first got to this area, it was so challenging.
Ugh.
Like the first thing that made it hard is the first week of the transfer was Christmas. So we don't know
Oh,
any
no.
members.
Yeah.
We just like we don't feel like we belong at all.
Yeah.
And now it's Christmas. It's like our first phone call home.
Yeah.
Because obviously when I served, I only called home 4 times.
Right.
And so I'm like excited to call home, but I'm also just like so overwhelmed. And that first phone call to my mom and my family was like, I just had so much like anxiety and just like pressure, and just
Yeah.
I was so sad. Like I was like teary eyed the whole time.
Yeah.
And like not even because I was sad or excited to see them, but just because like everything else was so challenging.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that 45-minute phone call ends, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't talk to them for another 7 months.
Yeah.
Or whenever Mother's Day is. But yeah, I just think the challenges that we faced were the area was kind of struggling.
Starting from scratch.
Starting from scratch, the
Oh.
area book looked like hadn't been filled out in maybe a couple weeks or months, and we literally had a pool to teach of like a teaching pool of maybe like 3 people.
Yeah.
Which might be a lot for some missions. For our mission, it was like, okay, cool. So that's like 1 day's worth of finding. So we're
Yeah.
basically starting with nothing.
Yeah.
Um, and then my companion, Elder Brady, was a little struggling a little bit, just kind of adjusting, which
Yeah.
totally normal.
Right.
But it was just like really hard on both of us.
Well, and
And
it's
like,
falling kind of all on you as like now the trainer, you're the leader of the area, but you're still relatively new.
oh yeah,
But you're feeling this pressure to step up and be the
yeah,
guy who kind of makes things happen.
yeah. And so, yeah, you're spot on. And luckily, over those 2 transfers of his training, Elder Brady became an awesome missionary and just got in the
Awesome.
groove of things. And that area took time to, nurture. And
Yeah.
it may not have even been as fruitful as we
That
would
hoped.
have hoped or liked.
Yeah.
But it is really important to hit the rock bottom of just like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, we feel so isolated, we're just out in the bush. We don't even think like a phone call to the zone leaders is going to do anything, just because it's just
Yeah.
like, you just are so isolated in this area. But once you kind of overcome that, you can you can be any kind of missionary you want,
Yeah.
and you can do anything going forward even after that. So every missionary needs to have one of those moments.
Right. Well, and usually when you're in those moments, you need to remind yourself that it y- when you're when you go through something hard, it usually means that something good is eventually going to come.
Yeah.
You'll turn a corner. You'll be put in a different situation that maybe makes things a little easier, or God helps you gain a better perspective on your situation.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like President Nelson says, like our situation and our circumstances shouldn't determine our happiness, right?
Yeah.
It's our focus
Yeah.
is what makes that. But it can be hard when the physical situation is just brutal and you miss
Yeah.
home, you're vulnerable. Um what what were some powerful experiences that you had that helped you maybe start to turn that corner and start to realize, man, this is actually a beautiful experience and I can have a lot of fun while doing it too.
Yeah. I don't even know if it would be like hey, I had this experience and this changed my thoughts, but
Yeah.
I think during those Walukuba area days, you know, over time you realize I'm not here to like baptize like X number of people. I'm not
Yeah.
here to like hit certain quotas. You're here to just serve, right?
Yeah.
And so while we were there, you just kind of have to ask yourself, like, why am I actually here? Why am I like genuinely a missionary?
Yeah.
Because, if you have certain expectations and you don't reach those, you're going to feel miserable. But if
Yeah.
you realize your only goal is to just represent the Lord, to serve other people, to share what makes you happy and what, you find to be true, and let others hear that message,
Yeah.
and just be like the instrument to like share that. It's okay if people don't accept it. It's okay if you're talking to one person versus 20 people.
Yeah.
Because then you just realize a mission is amazing because you can get, like, you don't actually need results to be totally fulfilled. You
Yeah.
just need to be doing your part,
Yeah.
and everything in theory should just like be working. And,
Yeah.
you should get
Absolutely.
the fulfillment that comes from a mission. And once you are aware of that you can have a good day regardless of what actually happens,
Yeah.
then as you do those inputs, then obviously miracles are going to happen, and you're going to find the right people or find, you know, awesome connections with members or your
Mm-hmm.
companion. And so I think just like that mindset shift
Mm-hmm.
of like, I don't need anything to happen. I just need to like be my best like self each day, and like
Yeah.
everything else should be,
Just falls into place.
yeah, it falls into place. And then because of that, dude, miracles beyond miracles,
Yeah.
one after another for sure.
Seriously. I love that. There's a part in I was actually looking at this as someone else and a successful missionary
Yeah,
part.
bro.
It's very popular and powerful part of Preach My Gospel, but it says about how your success as a missionary is determined primarily by your desire and commitment.
That's it, bro.
Right. And yeah, get your desires in the right place and commit to being a missionary. Embrace all aspects of it, the schedule, the weird rules that maybe might not make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just embrace it, and like
True.
you said, miracles follow.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear a miracle or two before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Maybe someone who changed your life in some ways, or an experience you were able to witness or be a part of.
Yeah. So this is actually a miracle that was not a miracle until I came home from my mission. So it's kind of a two-part story. So I think around my year mark, I don't even remember which companion I was with, but when you teach like part member families in Uganda, this happens all the time. Where like this mom and her like kids are members, but then you're like, who's this other kid? Like,
Yeah.
who is this?
Yeah.
And it's really common for like cousins to live with like their aunts and uncles, primarily because if this family lives out in the bush, they're almost always going to send their kids to live with the aunt who's more in the city, which it's not like a city. It's just more of like a more developed area. That way they have better access to school and
social
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but like it's very normal to just like send your kids off to like other family members, like grandmas and grandpas. Just because, yeah, if kids are born out in the bush, like they kind of want them to like get out and like not be trapped because they just won't go to school. Like it's just like how the nature of Uganda is. So anyways, we're in this ward and this area is massive. Like we were instructed, my companion and I were like on the edge of this ward boundary. And the goal is to actually open a branch kind of in between these existing wards. And so we kind of were like in this no man land where it's like a 30-minute drive to this ward or a 40-minute drive to this ward. And we were supposed to like teach and find people that would be willing to at least drive to this Matungo ward for the time being. And then once there were more members out in this middle area, they would eventually turn it into a branch. So kind of weird. We like
crazy
we like would shuttle people. Like we'd like all meet up at the bus stops together Sunday mornings and we'd all like bus into this ward. But we're in this area teaching this like nephew basically.
Okay.
And his name's Victor, super quiet kid. And honestly, like he would come to church just because the aunt would bring him.
Right.
We're like, how old is he? And she's like, I don't know. I think he's like 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Like I can ask his mom. We're not sure.
Yeah.
I think he was like 12 or 13 at the time. But we ended up teaching him. Super quiet kid, but he just liked coming to church. He liked the kids at church.
Being around, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those just like maybe a little bit less complicated baptisms.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm saying this out loud, he's probably closer to 15.
Okay.
Just now that I'm
doing the math.
I know what's going to happen next. But got baptized, super nice kid. Got the priesthood and started passing sacrament and just like growing like you would want to see a recent convert thrive.
Yeah.
But also you're like, I don't know if this kid goes back to the village, like, is he going to like, I don't even know where he's from. Like, is there even going to be church over there? What's this vibe? And I ended up moving, like areas and I just didn't hear from this kid ever.
Yeah.
Just, we don't have Facebook as missionaries at the time. So it's like,
it's only so much you can do to stay connected.
Yeah. I probably had his number, plugged it into WhatsApp when I got home, but really no contact at all. But then after my mission, I went to school and, you friend people from Uganda all the time on Facebook just because they find you, bro. They find you and it's like cool to be friends with like a white dude. Like, I don't know. It's just like weird. So you'll have like random people follow you all the time that you might not even like remember from the mission. But this random person messages me, and keep in mind, every person has like 7 names.
Yeah.
It's like English first name, then it's like a local language first name, then it's like all these like family names, and then it's just like a
Which
crazy
is, you
name.
never know what they're going by.
Yeah, so this like Instagram profile, I'm like, don't recognize this name at
Yeah.
all. But they're like, hey, Elder Johnson, what's up? Like, how are you? You probably don't remember me, which I didn't.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think you baptized me with so and so. Here's a picture of our baptism or of my baptism. And I was like, oh yeah, that's me. And I guess that's you. You
Yeah.
know, although your profile picture doesn't look like this and I don't recognize your name.
Yeah.
But I was like, is it Victor? He's like, yeah, it's Victor, blah, blah, blah. So we're like catching up. He's like, hey, I'm going on a mission. And just want to say thank you, for like bringing me into the gospel and like doing all this stuff. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, when are you leaving? He's like, I'm leaving like today. Like, it's my last day before I
No
like don't have
way.
a phone.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is, um, I think he ended up moving back to like his home village, and none of his family members were members of the church
Yeah.
besides the aunt and his cousins
Right.
from the ward we were with him at. So during his whole mission, he like had no one to email or write or talk to.
Yeah.
And so I became like his guy. So
No way.
every P day we would email. He'd actually FaceTime me. I don't know if that was like if he got permission to do that, but
Yeah.
I figured I was his only family member that like he could call. So he would
Right.
FaceTime me every Monday during his
Seriously.
whole mission.
No way.
And it was just incredible.
So when was this? A couple years ago
oh
then?
gosh. He probably served like 3 years ago.
Okay, cool.
Like he probably got home like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy. And the whole time, every time he FaceTimes me, he's just like, Elder Johnson, like, how did you do this? Like, how did you, like, it was just,
asking for advice
yeah, I'm
and
like,
stuff.
almost like I'm like his like older brother or like his
Yeah.
like dad or something, where he's just
Yeah.
like, dude, how do I do this? Like, this is so hard. I can't learn the language. Like, because he got called to Madagascar,
Okay.
and like Malagasy is like some crazy
Yeah.
challenging language. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just so cool. And so for 2 years, I literally talked with him like every day
No
or
way,
every week.
dude.
And yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, and tying it back to our conversation earlier of your experience as a young kid, needing to represent yourself and interact with adults, without your dad being there. And it's like, what an amazing skill that you developed to maybe be there for this kid.
Oh, for sure.
Obviously at that point, like you had served a mission and you're, in college and doing all sorts of good stuff to help with that. But like, it's almost like you could fulfill that same role that a lot of people maybe fulfilled for you as
Yeah.
a young kid,
Yeah.
and it's like, I don't know, you can't deny God's hand in all of this,
No.
and
You can't at all.
and that's the beautiful thing about a mission is it's not just the 2 years, it's like the ripple effect and things that just continue to happen throughout your life because you were willing to go and serve in some capacity and just show up and do your best.
Yeah.
And those stories continue even
Yeah.
when you leave. It's so that's epic, bro.
No,
I love that.
It really is. It like, because yeah, that ripple effect or just like the obvious like divine intervention in that whole
Yeah.
experience is like, you can't deny that at all. Like,
No,
it's
dude, you
so
can't.
crystal clear. And I would actually think about that too, where I would be like, oh my goodness, my parents joined the church when they were barely married,
Yeah.
maybe within their first year or two of marriage, converts. Then their kids, I and two of my siblings went on missions. Great. We teach X amount of people. And then one of my converts goes on a mission. And it's like, dude,
Yeah,
those
dude.
missionaries back in Texas like 40 years ago, thank you, bro. Like,
Dude,
thank
are
you.
yeah.
Like, you don't even know what type of snowball effect is occurring, but there's only like one real explanation in that. It's just like God is like here.
Yeah.
And I just think about like just those 2 generations of like missionaries and how much impact and work and progress and that is just
Right.
it's crazy.
Like now that ripple effect is affecting people in in Africa, in the places that your siblings served, and now
Yeah.
the place that in Madagascar. It's just, yeah, dude, it's so cool. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier too. It's like the gospel of Jesus Christ is a family.
Yeah.
No matter where you come from, it's a family. All are welcome, all belong. Everyone has a place here. And yeah, you get a front row seat of that as a missionary. It's so rad.
Yeah.
Um we can I love to wrap up with this question. This is one that I ask a lot of people. To a young man or woman who just got their call to your mission, what is something that you wish you would have known? Maybe some advice that you could give them. Obviously, we talked about the temple and stuff, but
Yeah.
maybe something that might be a little more specific to your mission in
My
particular.
mission. I think, yeah, aside from the temple, um, I would highly, highly recommend journaling. It's a really good way to just obviously capture what you did that day, and you can look back on it. But it's also a good way to just like, it's almost like miniature therapy, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're alone, not where your family is, and you're with a companion, one other person, like all day. But I think journaling has a huge spiritual and also just like mental
Hmm.
benefit.
Yeah.
Plus, I journaled every single day, so I have this journal right here. It has all like 750 days or whatever 2 years is,
Yeah.
all logged. And so it's kind of fun. I can look at today's date, what the 27th of May, and I can find both May
Yeah.
27th and just see what I was doing that day. And
So cool.
it's I'm sure I like it now. I'm sure I'll love it even more when Eden and I have kids and
Yeah.
we've got, stories to share and tell. But that I would just recommend. Like,
Yeah.
you have time for it.
Yeah.
You'll never have more time to journal than on a mission.
Yeah.
Like if you like, I don't have time for it now.
Seriously.
Like that's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's like a general one.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, that's so good. I was the same way. I remember my older brother told me that. He's like, just don't miss a day of journaling. And in that same regard, like send an email too.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's important too. But just documentation does a lot for the future, like your posterity. Like reading my dad's mission journals was always so cool. But yeah, just what it does to you emotionally, spiritually, in the moment, just being able to write down a funny story or rant a little bit, or if you're frustrated, it's a great way to just kind of decompress before you go to bed.
Yeah. That's
So
for
funny.
sure.
Dang, man. Well, yeah, I mean, if I want to make sure you have the mic to share anything
Yeah.
else that might be important, but
I think just for my mission specifically, it's good to know that like a temple is being built in Uganda now.
oh, nice.
And because of that, like that's like huge, right?
Yeah,
Like
for
before,
sure.
members would have to travel to Kenya, and before traveling to the Kenya temple, they'd have to go to the Congo Kinshasa temple, and before
Yeah.
that, they'd have to go all the way down to South Africa. So there's a huge like proximity thing, and so if I was a missionary going to Uganda now, I would lean into that as much as possible. I don't know if there's like a temple ground yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's not. I bet they haven't even broken dirt yet.
Yeah.
But I wish I had something like that. But
Yeah.
lean into it, bringing investigators or friends, whatever they're called now, but bringing them to the potential temple ground site
Yeah.
even has power. And once the temple's there, oh my goodness, just lean into that as hard as you can, because that's where they will be able to, enrich their relationship with God the most.
Yeah.
And so just like making that so clear and so obvious.
So good.
That's what I would do if I had a temple in my mission.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, Jett, thank you, dude. Seriously, so many good takeaways from this conversation, and we'll have to hash out some more stories again soon, because this
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. But
Cool.
you're the man.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, Jett.
Yeah, glad I could be here.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace out.